Ladies and gentlemen, another close loss, another game that Lincoln Riley should be fired. He's got to go. He's got to be fired. And listen, a lot of USC fans, a few years ago, a lot of you guys believed that USC was going to go ahead and be a national championship contender. The first year, listen, you had Caleb Williams, you had a great season, you won 11 games. You did a fantastic job, but you didn't win your conference championship, and then you lost to Tulane. Then the following year you go 7-6. And then the following year, now we're at this point where you're 3-3. You lose a terrible game to Minnesota. You lose to a Michigan football team that has no quarterback and no passing game and just ran all over you. And now you lose to a Penn State football team who's vastly overrated. Penn State, let's be honest, vastly overrated football team. Who Penn State was up this game by multiple touchdowns. I think by 3 scores in this football game. And they find a way to lose it again in classic Lincoln Riley fashion. You let a tight end have 229 receiving yards only on 17 grabs against you. This defense looked out of sync. This team could barely generate any sort of pass rush in the second half. You can blame defensive play calling, misuse of personnel, whatever the freaking case is. But I was told that. But I mean, and listen, I thought that USC's defense looked improved in that first game against the LSU game. We were all wrong. And this is why we always can't take the first game seriously. But man, USC is a disappointment. And for a lot of people, they're going to sit up there and say, well, Alabama's a disappointment, right? Because I'm a Bama fan. I mean, you think that hurts my feelings? I do. Listen, I said it. I don't think we're a great football team. Hell, I don't even think we're a good football team right now. But at least we're not. But guess what? At least we're not 3-3. So USC, I mean, I'm not going to clown you guys. I'm not going to be the one to do it. You guys know what the deal is. Lincoln Riley has to be fired. He's got to get fired. This is his third year, and the defense still can't be fixed. It just happens, though, that your offense, even though it hasn't regressed too much, your offense hasn't been the main strength of this team either. So Miller Moss is a massive downgrade for Caleb Williams. You got playmakers on the outside. You got players, man, but I mean, USC really should be 5-1. Instead, you're 3-3. You lost to Minnesota, and now you ended up losing to a Penn State football team who, yes, they're ranked. They're top 10 ranked. Penn State's not that great of a football team, and trust me, they'll get exposed. Penn State will get exposed eventually when they get blown up by Ohio State. We all know what's coming. This is James Franklin we're talking about. But for a lot of people, and this is during the offseason, this is the I told you so. USC once again just can't get the job done when the moment is brightest on them, shines brightest on them. But yeah, Lincoln Riley, it's time for him to go. And it's time for my Buffalo Bills to pick up Lincoln Riley so he could be our offensive coordinator. Because it's just not working. He should never left Oklahoma, but let's be honest. They were going down, they were going on a downward spiral, even with Lincoln Riley, if he was at Oklahoma, because that defense never was going to get fixed. The offense would have been the main strength. Yes, Caleb Williams would have still been your quarterback, but let's be honest, Oklahoma was going to go down this path regardless of Lincoln Riley was there or not. So it is what it is. But yeah, time to fire Lincoln Riley. It's time to move on. And USC, it's time for you to fight. It's time for you to get a new head coach. Maybe Matt Zentz. Maybe.